She's here for round 2 with us. She just didn't get enough. But this time she's back because we're talking about a really cool topic on this newest edition of Real Talk, and that is how to recession-proof your business, realtors. And I think we've had a lot of water cooler talk lately. In regards to that, there's a lot of contributing factors. We can't control everything. I don't think that they allow us to control what goes on at the Fed or anything else. But what we can control, Amber,
can you imagine?
Is how we run. Yes, right. I don't think they would want us to do that. But let's control what we can. And what we can control is working by referral, building better systems, and being intentional with how we run our business. And so those are some of the things we're going to talk about today. Yes, Jason Esparza, let's go. So guys, really, we want this to be interactive. This isn't meant to, be a class or a webinar. Amber is fantastic and excited to have her on. So ask questions. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of realtors that are trying to kind of reestablish better protocols after the last 2 years of this crazy market where everything was so reactionary and they weren't as intentional with their business. So, Amber, is your face frozen? Potentially. There she is.
I think you're frozen. Are you frozen?
I'm frozen.
It looks like you're frozen.
One of us is frozen. We're going to let it go. But yeah, that was.
I was like, I don't know what she's saying, but I'm sure it's brilliant.
It's brilliant. Yes, it was all about how wonderful you are. And we're going to talk about tonight how we can. Yep, there we lost her. So we're going to keep on going, folks. And when Amber comes back on, we will chime in and start talking about these 7 steps on how to recession-proof your business. So first thing we are going to do is kind of figure out the different ways that you guys can do that. And of course, she better get on here. Her husband's a tech genius, Mr. Esparza. So we'll get her back on. But I met Amber and Jason, it's been over a decade ago, and, worked on a team with Jason and then was able to just work with Amber through coaching and some other things. And I know a few years ago when I was looking to reestablish better systems in my business, that there she is.
Yes, I'm back in.
Okay, we're back. But I was just telling them that when I was looking to establish better procedures for my business at a time where I just needed to tear it down and build it back up, that it was Amber and Jason's coaching program that really helped me connect the dots. Because I think when we're throwing all of these things at everybody, it's one thing to say what to do, but then it's another reason, to explain why. What's the objective? Because I think if we can buy in to the objective and the goal of what you're doing, then it's a lot easier. So give me a little bit about your background, Amber, what you guys are doing, where your passions are.
Well, I'm glad I came back.
Yeah, me too. Trust me, there's a little bit of lip sweat. There's a little lip sweat that was going on. So
that was so weird. I was like, there I go. Love technology. Uh-huh. So this is my 20th year, almost 21 years of being in the business. And I started my career in Kansas City. Sold there for a long time and then moved to Texas in 2007 and then opened 3 different real estate offices. But my passion really is around residential real estate sales. But I love just talking to agents about, all about making the sphere the foundation of their business. Yep. But also I'm really passionate about what we're going to talk about today, which is recession proofing your business, because frankly, if we are all getting real honest, like this is the real honest part of the podcast right off the bat. And that is a lot of us got away with coasting a little bit the last few years, like a little bit. And we still had good years. And some people had record-breaking years, even with very little lead generation. Now, I'm not saying that applies to everybody. It depends on how long you've been in the business. Right. But we have already seen the shift happen. Now it's going to continue to, it's a pendulum, and you've been in the business long enough, Ashley, also to know, that it swings back and forth, and that's normal. And there is no such thing as a bad market. Every market just has different challenges, but we do have to recognize that the shift has happened. And if you let your clients listen to the doom and gloom that's on the news hitting them daily about interest rates, about recessions, and while all those things may be true, it's up to you as the realtor to do two things. Number one, you need to recession proof your business, which is the steps we're going to be giving you today. And number two, your job is to control the narrative that your sphere of influence is hearing with real data. We've been talking about that a lot with our coaching clients, is the data over drama, because they're just hearing drama every single day. So it's our job to really convey the data. But today, I think we're going to be talking about number one, which is like, what can an agent do to recession proof their business?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think controlling the narrative is huge. And that doesn't mean spinning it. It just means, guys, all the information is subjective. I mean, I send out monthly custom newsletters that I curate the content, and I just want to keep my people in the know. And I'm always looking for a very contextual, subjective article that's not talking about one way or another. I saw so many people saying, it's such a hot seller's market, sell your house now, call me now. And I'm like, you just alienated half the people out there that were buyers, because now they're intimidated into the market as a buyer into this marketplace. We really need to control the content that is being distributed to our clients. So right now I see a lot of people, and don't hate on me if you guys love it, but if I see one more, date the rate, marry the house as controlling the narrative, I'm gonna choke.
You're gonna
and it's not because I don't think that that's the starting point, right? Is to get people to understand that the house is the long-term gain, and the rate can be temporary with refinancing options. But just like any other good meme, guys, it's time to let it go. Okay.
Well, and we have to know a better dialogue. That can only be a starting point. We should know as realtors what we're talking about with real data. And so I understand what you're saying there for sure.
So let's get into number one. So what's number one?
Okay, so for me, this one is the foundation to all the rest of them, because if you don't do number one, the rest aren't going to happen. So number one is to time block daily lead generation time on your calendar and make it a non-negotiable. In other words, treat your lead gen time like it's a listing appointment. You would not like move your listing appointment around. Your lead gen time has to be protected. If you're a full-time agent, then you should full-time be lead generating. A lot of people ask me, what does that look like, Amber? So let's start there just to help people out. For everybody, it's different. But to me, number one, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. It's not going to happen.
Amen.
It's just like anything else, whether it's working out, taking vacations, having a date night. If it's not on the calendar, it's just, then you're in reactive mode and it's not going to happen on a regular basis. If you find yourself on the real estate roller coaster, and I joke about this, but it's not funny when you're on it, is the roller coasters is like, I have a bunch of closings. And because you're so busy, you're not lead generating. So then it turns into, I have nothing. I've got to start all over. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I love my career. And then it's like you get a nightmare client that you can't fire because you have no other leads. And then you want to shred your license. It's that roller coaster of just, it is not a good feeling to be on. And the only way to get off that roller coaster is frankly to have enough leads in the pipeline that you're working with your ideal client. If you need to fire someone, you can. You're not getting burned out because you can hire help because you have enough leads. I mean, really, lead generation solves all problems. So if it's not on your calendar, then it's not a priority, period. So if I was to look at your calendar today, would I see, audience, do you have lead generation time blocked every day? I mean, not weekends, but like every weekday or the 5 days a week on your calendar?
Amber, I'm going to answer for everybody else, and I'm going to say no.
And now and yes, Victoria, I hear date the rate in my sleep at this point. You should, because you are an amazing loan originator yourself. So I'm sure you hear it all the time. But no, and that's hard, especially when you're trying to develop a new habit. If somebody is consistently already doing that, I do make time for lead generation consistently throughout my day. In fact, when I wake up, it's all about how do I generate new business? And that doesn't mean going out there and cold calling. It doesn't mean buying more online leads. This is type of just warm connection and continuing to be in front of my sphere, develop a larger network, add to my sphere, and figure out those other things are. But I only had that foundation because I took your coaching program several years ago that helped me. And now it's different, but I hear it from agents all the time. Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't do this. Inviting them to different things and not about industry networking opportunities. Have you tried this? Have you done this? Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm busy. I have a closing or I need to do a walkthrough. It's always transactional things in their calendar. It's never business building things.
Right. And if you don't have that, and by the way, the tip for me is to do that before lunchtime, because if you do it later in the day, as agents, the filtered way I say this is that stuff will hit the fan by about lunchtime and beyond. I mean, typically the fires that you guys cannot predict that you're putting out every day happen typically right at lunch and beyond into the rest of your day. So if you can get those most important thing like that book, Eat That Frog, or your 20%, however you want to say it, done before lunch. For me, I'd rather have it done by 10 or 11, but you get it done before lunch so you can really solidify it doesn't matter what else hits the fan the rest of the day. You can feel great about yourself because you protected your business 90 days from now by lead generating today. And you know what? Time blocking your lead gen is strictly making it a priority on your calendar. What that time looks like is up to the individual. Now, for me, I have a formula of what it looks like for me, but I remember there was a guy that sat next to my office when I was selling, and he was a cold caller, man. He would sit in there for hours calling for sale by owner and expired list, and he was a machine. And I wasn't, you can't say that doesn't work. At least I couldn't say that because he was one of the top producers, but so was I. And I never cold call. So it's a matter of what works for your personality. For me, I'm allergic to cold calling. Like, ain't never going to happen. Like, it's against my religion, but you take what you want to do and you make it a priority. You come up, it's a numbers game. You've got to make it. So whether you're cold calling or you're going after your sphere, which is where it's really at, regardless, is it time blocked on your calendar, and do you do it daily? Because success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. So put it on the calendar. We can't coast we cannot coast in a shift. It's not going to happen.
There is not coasting. And it doesn't have to be so sterile as far as time blocking and everything else. But like you said, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist in my world, to the point where my husband will literally put the dog grooming on my work schedule, picking up the dry cleaning, different things. So he puts next to it Reese, but I know where he is if I need his help in the business, because now he's a licensed agent and is helping us leverage more time. But he will literally say, well, where are you going today? I don't know. Check my calendar. I don't even know where I'm going right now.
You just follow what's on the calendar.
I follow what's on the calendar. I'm not filling any more stuff in the brain. So I just let it tell me where to go. So, okay. What about number two?
Yeah. Okay. So number two is, especially, this should be happening in your business at all times, but especially during a shift, which is what we're experiencing now. And that is hold your expenses accountable. So what I want you to do is go through all your expenses. We're talking about the services, the apps. I mean, literally look at every dime you're spending. And the key is not to cut everything. The key is to cut the things that are not bringing you a return on investment. Because the worst thing you could do is panic and stop all marketing or stop things that were working for you, because you actually need those things running in a shift, if not more than ever. But if you're spending money on things that have little ROI, you've got either no ROI or little ROI, where if you took that same amount and put it into one of the things that had higher ROI, could you scale that better? So just take a look at that. Now, I would say the only places that I don't recommend my coaching clients cut is their assistant. If you have a talented assistant, cutting that expense is going to be detrimental to your business, because 60% of what you do as an agent is admin work. And if you take on that 60%, what happens is you won't have time to do number one. You're not going to have time to lead generate because you're doing all the admin work. So what I'm not saying is cut everything, cut everything that doesn't have a return on investment. And I know for us, we were guilty of only looking at that quarterly when it came time to quarterly or yearly when it came tax time. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's way too late to be looking at that. You could have spent $24,000 in a year that you didn't need to spend if you would have looked at on a regular.
So I'm just going to let you know right now, as soon as you said that, and I was just waiting for Sherry Fearbacher to chime in because she is our operations and CFO mindset of the team. I like to spend. She likes to slap me. And so she said, of course, amen.
Amen.
You know,
Hey,
amen.
Sherry.
Yes, what she's probably angling for is no more succulents. I don't need to go to Home Goods for staging supplies. She literally walks into our office. Now we have a 4-room or a large office space with 4 different rooms, and 2 of them are our design center with all of our staging inventory. And she literally looked at me when we moved. She goes, "Really? This many?" I mean, I have those muscle racks just full everywhere, and I see your plants behind you. So greenery, I think, brings life to a situation. Of course, I can't expect my clients to water them. So I do. I have an unhealthy obsession, and I probably have about 500 succullents because
So
we've got different.
Have enough.
I mind, but I have different leaves. You've got some that are like a mother-in-law's tongue, and then you've got more of the ones that are bushy and tall ones and short ones. So anyways, I digress. So we'll see. Yes, it does take both minds though, Sherry. And that's the whole point is it's a team effort and trying to hold yourself accountable on your expenses. I think we talked about it last time, maybe. Have you heard about that Truebill app?
The Truebill app? No.
Yes. Okay,
so
we actually use it in our household, and it just keeps track of all the bills, like everything. So it connects to your emails, and anything that's like an outgoing and expense, it connects it. So Reese will sit there. He came to me yesterday, and he said, "Hey, did you pay the mortgage this month?" And I said, "Yes, why?" And he said, "Oh my goodness, we cut $3,000 out of our spending this month." Nice. I immediately panicked. Now, listen, I don't know what happened. It probably just fell on a different day, but I start panicking. Well, did I pay the mortgage? And I'm looking at that, and he just looked, but it tracks all the bills and the subscriptions, and it houses it in one app. And so it shows you what's going on. It also even puts it in categories. So if it's like food versus subscriptions or something else, to really help give you a better visual. Because I think that's what we all fall in, right? Free trial, connect your credit card, and then that free trial goes for, I call it the $5.99 you to death.
And you know what? Those things add up. Now, Gina's saying in the comments she also likes Rocket Money. I haven't tried that one, but I thought I would let you know about. Yeah. We're old school because of our accountant. We use QuickBooks Online, and every single expense goes through there because we separate our business expenses from our personal. So that's easy to track through that. But our team's going to be looking at that at minimum quarterly, but I tend to look at it because of the shift, no joke, like every 2 weeks. I have been in on that spreadsheet just going, what can be cut? And again, it's not out of fear. It's just be smart about where you're spending your money.
Well, Amber, something that's going on right now, and I've been having conversations. I just left my preferred title company. Shout out to Fair Texas. I was talking with them. We're also going to have Brit Fair come back and do a Faircast on the economic case of what we're going to look at in Q1 in 2023. And so that's what we were talking about. But we were also just talking about, hey, what's going on in each of the affiliated businesses that are around real estate? Because what I don't want to see happen again is people shuttering staff that are instrumental in making our affiliate businesses run around. We've all been there when the market crashed the last go around. The market is not crashing. Yes, we have shifting happening right now, but we do see affiliated partners getting rid of their staff again, their business development, their marketers, their assistants, their processors. Right now on the lending side, it's happening exponentially. Now, part of that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. They didn't actually do any lead gen the past 2 years. So that's self-fulfilling. But what I don't want to see as a realtor is I don't want to see my trusted affiliate partners getting rid of their staff to get lean and mean because their profits aren't where they should. So when you said don't get rid of your assistant because that's 60% of your job portion is the admin, that's so crucial. So, hey, word to the wise to everyone, just make sure you're looking at that effectually. Cut the fat somewhere else, but still
but you've
keep
got to
the
take
good-
that time and actually lead generator. You're not going to be able to afford that person, like you're saying. Like, you don't want to cut that person, but you do have to take the time and not just coast. You have to actually lead generate to support that person. And then if
Yeah.
you're somebody who already didn't have a hire, so you're
Yep.
not cutting someone, you didn't have a hire, then you might consider hiring independent contractors part-time. You
Yep.
know, you might, play with that. I know for us, we have quite a few, we have some employees and then we have independent contractors. So if there's things that you know that you need, but it's a shift and you're not sure you're ready for a full-time position, then go the independent contractor route. And, that'll help you with that. But just hold your expenses accountable. That's the bottom line. I see that like Christine said, the key is to actually look at it. You can't fix something that you're not looking at. So
well, Christine is a one of our new directors for the board at MetroTex, a fantastic realtor, and also one of my very close friends. And I do know that's exactly something she would do, is never even look at the apps after she purchased them, which I think we are all guilty of from time to time. So just pay attention. Don't put the blinders on, and keep coasting, like you said. All right. So number 3, what's number 3?
Yeah. Okay. So number 3 is not going to be a shock to you. It is focus on your sphere of influence.
Yes.
The sphere has been and always will be the foundation to your business. Now, I don't know how old this stat is because I was trying to find it before the podcast, but I heard someone say that the National Association of Realtors said that 70% of an agent's income comes from their sphere of influence. I know that Tom Ferry did a survey and they said that only 4% of agents stay in regular contact with their sphere of influence. So you can see why this is one of the tips today, because even though we all know, we were taught since we got our license that our sphere was a big deal, the action steps we're taking are not that. We get busy. We don't talk to them. We don't have a relationship with them. And if I called your sphere today, I'm talking to the audience, would they name you as their realtor? That's what you have to ask yourself, because they no longer just know another realtor or even 4 or 5 realtors. Most of them know 12, a dozen realtors at church alone. So it's like,
oh my goodness, right? Church,
just in the
nonprofit
pew.
organization, just in the pew. There's so many. How many we could just point out there? But you know what? That's huge right there, Amber, because I think most people, and we've talked about this before, but I just remember somebody saying, well, why would I talk to that person, or why would I continue? Their cousin just got their license and they're a realtor. Okay, that's their cousin. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to use their cousin. Maybe they refer their cousin for certain things or whatever else. But sometimes I think we say, no, I'm going to take this person on my sphere, or I'm not going to focus on them. I had an agent one time. She's no longer with me, but that's all right. I'm not bitter or anything. But she told me, she's like, I said, look, this is about, she said she doesn't have a big sphere. She was a stay-at-home mom. She was a teacher before. And I said, let's join this group together. It was a community group, and I'll help you. I'll encourage you and encourage that growth. And so I said, why don't you go and take so-and-so out? Just learn about them. She goes, they bought a house last year. Why would I invest my time? And I just looked at her and I'm like, you are nuts. And it's so funny. I developed relationships with all of these women in this group. And since then, I have done a considerable amount of business over the years with these women because I developed a relationship. I stayed in contact, and I was the trusted professional when they decided they wanted to do something else again. Yeah. I said, so get out of that stinking thinking that just because somebody bought a house last year that they wouldn't be a great referral source for you going forward.
Yeah. And we've had so many people say, Amber, I don't want to send them a video note they just bought last year. And they're shocked when they get a response saying, you know what, we were on a 12-month plan to go ahead and buy our next property. And we're, and conversations are happening that if they wouldn't have had, and they decided to speed things up because of the economy and go ahead and do it now, like, you're missing out on all those conversations. But like you said, it's not just about them though. When we focus on our sphere, it's because 15% of them are going to move in the next 12 months, but 100% of them know someone who's moving in the next 12 months. So that is what we're focused on. We're not just focused on them. And then a new stat says 12% of them are going to purchase a second property for vacation or investment. So you have got to open up your mind, start waking up in the morning going, how can I provide value to my sphere of influence today? Who am I relationship building with? Who am I helping? How can I help their business today? And if your sphere is not big, even more reason to focus on your sphere, because you're going to provide value to the list you have, because no matter where you're starting, it's a great place to start. And you're going to focus on them so that you can grow it, because sphere is how you will recession proof your business. Now we have other tips, but all those tips should be used to grow your sphere list, because any leads that you go after, when they convert, they become your METs, also known as your sphere. So it'll always filter down to focusing on your sphere of influence.
So one of my favorite things to do is also sometimes kick somebody out of my sphere so I don't waste my time. And that's not necessarily
like liberating.
It is liberating, because that's the same thing. It's about tracking your expenses. If you're spending a lot of time on somebody and you're constantly pouring into them, but doesn't mean you don't still send them a newsletter or a video note or something else. But our time is valuable, and still investing in our sphere is also financially a commitment. And so, that's the other thing, is I want to focus on the ones that are my awesome advocates, my grassroots ground warriors, all of those things. And so I think it's also just recognizing that you can also categorize your sphere and decide the efforts that you're going to put in it. But if you're not working your sphere, I will tell you, this is not a braggadocious thing, because when I came to you as a coaching client, I was in the rebuilding stage of my business, and there was not a lot of business there, but I knew I had to set the proper foundation. And you and Jason were there to help me understand the objectives and the goals of what I was doing. And it was always around the sphere, and then everything else, let's see how we support that. And still to this day, I'm building on that. And I will tell you, it's definitely, things shift, things become more challenging or more difficult, but God has blessed me and my company with the fact that we set the foundation. I never coasted. I've continued to press the gas on that.
You're doing the work.
And that's what it is. It's not, oh gosh, I hate it when people look at other people that are succeeding and demonize their success, but I have put in probably 6 years of very hard work and consistently done it and elevated year after year. And I'm telling you right now, it looks different. I've diversified some of my business, some of my clients. I do a third that's commercial and multifamily investments now, because exactly what you said, my residential clients saw that they had an appetite for the investment space, and so on and so forth. And so because I have a diversified portfolio of what I do, it's been amazing, and we're continuing to close deals. And so it looks different, but exactly what you said, my business has become recession proof.
Yeah, it's about planting those seeds, and you're planting the seeds. You cannot expect a harvest when you're not planting the seeds, but we can't just plant them, you guys. That's like, you have to water them consistently. I mean, ongoing, or they die. I don't care how big the plant is, it will die if it is not watered, and your sphere of influence is no different. Now, I do not complicate my sphere system. I know a lot of people, I was talking to somebody earlier today about how they do the system kind of, I think it's Buffini-esque, where they do like an A, B, C, D, they rate them or whatever. And I don't do that personally, because the more complicated something is, the less I'm going to do it. So my way is I just, do whatever works for you, but I don't have a separate marketing system for A, B, C's, D's. No, I decide you either my sphere and you're my ride or die, or you're my not met list, and they're going to be marketed to differently. I'm going to spend a lot more time on my sphere. There's 3 questions that I ask to qualify if they get to go on that list or not. It's, do I know them? Now, they don't have to be a bestie or anything, but have I met them virtually or on the phone, or, do I know them? Number 2 is, do I want to do future business with them? Not everybody is my ideal client.
Yep.
or in my ideal area. So if they're not, I might just want a referral from it. I'm going to throw them on the other list where I'm not investing as much time. And then the third question is, am I willing to invest time from now on getting to know them better and providing value?
Yep.
And if those three answers are yes, they make it on the sphere list. If it's no, they go on the automatic drip list because it's a numbers game on that one. And I'm not going to invest a lot of time. So regardless of how you decide to focus on your sphere or how to qualify your sphere for whoever's listening, just make sure that your sphere is not on a set it and forget it. You cannot afford during a shift to set them on a 33 touch or whatever it is your company's calling it and never talking to them.
I can't do it. I can't do it. If I get one more spam, constant contact email without some probative value from people, I'm going to serve. And that's what we have to think about. We're being marketed to, Amber, right? I mean, we're being marketed to by other services and companies, whether they're in real estate or outside of real estate. How do you feel when you just get these non-personal drip campaigns that don't provide any value? And that's what I don't understand with realtors. You don't like it. So why are you doing it?
And frankly, it's not going to cut it. And I care about your audience enough to tell them it's not going to cut it. But because of time, I will tell you that I have a free training. They can DM me on pretty much any social media, and I'll send you the link. It's an on-demand training of how you can market to your sphere. I'll give you the whole formula for free because this is not a time to do a set it and forget it. This is a time to get technology that works and you reach people today in their world. They're not answering their phones. So all phone calls is not just the answer. So happy to give you that training because I know we can't spend all day on sphere because I could, but
same here. And that's a passion project of mine as well. So let's move on to number 4. What's number 4?
And Jason can probably put the link in the comments.
Yes, please do, Jason.
He's been so
I would
helpful.
Yep, he has.
He's the best. Okay, so number 4, if you focused on your sphere like you should have in number 3, you are going to get referrals. So what you want to do is make sure if you're not already doing this, you need to have a system to reward your top referrers. Some people call it a VIP program. You can call it whatever you want, customer appreciation program, but you need to crack down on really rewarding those people that are sending you referrals. Because like we mentioned earlier, they do know a lot of other realtors. So if they're putting themselves out there to refer to you, don't you want to reward that behavior? Because if you don't, what could happen?
Oh, there's a lot of things that can happen. And that was the conversation. Everybody wants to be appreciated and considered. And if I'm taking my time to do something because I want to help you support your business, and in turn, obviously my referral gets appreciated, appreciate what they did for you. And that's what I don't understand too. Even when I do something with another business, if I refer a client, I say, hey, use my name. I don't expect you to roll out the red carpet. But it would be really great to at least get a text, a call, an email, a note, something else to say, hey, Ashley, I really appreciate you referring so-and-so to me. They've been a great situation. So that makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Why aren't we doing that more with our clients?
Yeah, it's so simple. It's about really, I guess my thing is you hear people say a lot of time, oh, I don't need a pat on the back. Lies.
Exactly. You sit on a throne of lies. Right?
You sit on a throne of lies.
Yes.
I don't care your personality type. Even if you're somebody who doesn't love accolades, which almost everybody does, it's just how they get the accolade will matter depending on their personality style. But everyone wants to feel appreciated. And how do you expect to continue to be top of mind when you are not appreciated? It's the same as when you don't ask for referrals. When you don't ask for referrals, what does your sphere assume?
You're all right. You're busy.
They assume you don't need them.
Yeah.
And so if you don't thank your referral sources adamantly, gratefully, enthusiastically, and timely, then what will they assume? You didn't need it, that it wasn't that important.
Well, and I will tell you, oh no, we're freezing again. So we'll pivot if we need to get hurt. There we go. We're going to jump back on. But I will tell you, I've had a lot of people because obviously we do this and I am super involved in the association and other things. And I'll have clients that will still ask me, hey, I've got a friend or I've got a relative that's looking to buy or sell their home. I know you're super busy, but I wanted to talk to you first. Oh my gosh, yes, I absolutely want to be able to help anybody that's important to you. Understand all that I do. She's coming back on. All that I do is because I want to continue to advocate and provide value to my sphere of influence. I was just saying, Amber, this is a fun game. We're playing peekaboo.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
liking it. It's
so
good.
Sorry.
But what I was saying is I've had a lot of clients because of my involvement in the association and doing real talk and other stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm out there and I'm not shaking hands and kissing babies. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to continue to provide value to
Well, then
serve
what
my
are you
clients.
doing, Ashley?
Right. Thank you. I kiss my baby. But what I tell them is no, I always want your referrals. I want to be able to take care of those important people in your life. And what I do is so that I can continue to provide value and serve all of you. The closing table is not the divorce. It's the start of the relationship. And I always talk about that when I'm at a closing. I'm sitting there and, the escrow officer is saying, okay, well, you're going to have your homestead exemption and everything else. I'm going to stop you right there. I was like, guys, don't freak out about it. I'm going to remind you in January, but I am going to send you a link. You need to change your address and your driver's license. DPS is 4 months out. All of these other things. You guys are going to get tired of hearing from me over and over again. This relationship is only starting to blossom. And I think we have to start. When you said it was only like 7% of people actually heard from their realtors, it's because realtors treat the closing table as a divorce, not as the start of the. Yeah, it's awful. All right, Johnny.
All right, so Johnny has a great question.
Yes. What's been your most successful type of thank you for the referral, i.e. dinner, gift cards, etc.? This might be a trap. Johnny's a sneaky one. So, Amber.
Oh, is he? Okay, well, I can only give my experience. So there is no wrong answer when I base it on truth and history.
Love it. Love it.
And I say that to everybody. Like, I'm pretty passionate, probably like it sounds like Johnny is too, about his opinions. But I'm pretty passionate about what I say, but I always tell my clients, if something's working for you, and I mean it's trackable, it's got an ROI, then keep doing it, even if I don't like to do it. But I'm going to base mine on my history and my coaching clients. And I also base everything on data and trends, because just because it used to work doesn't mean it's working now. So that's what I do. But what works best for me is we do a 3-part VIP program, and most people do a 1-part VIP program. And when I say 1 part, I mean they're either doing client appreciation gifts, or they're doing some form of pop-by gifts, or a yearly pies, or something along those lines. Whereas when you want to really make a difference, when somebody is truly a VIP, very influential person, okay, if they are truly a VIP, then the number one thing that we do out of the 3 aspects, to me, that where most agents are missing the boat, is, do you know what your VIP does for a living? Can they benefit from referrals? And are you sending them to them? And I feel like we're so quick to go to the gift, which we have gifts as our 3rd one. So I'm not saying gifts aren't awesome, because we absolutely use unexpected appreciation gifts. But if you don't know what you can do to bring value to their life, and the only way you know is by asking, because if they author the plan, it can't be wrong. If you are missing that piece of the pie, then we're asking the wrong question. It's not about a gift. It's about, what are you doing to have reciprocity to bring value to them as they're bringing value to you? And that's where we start 100% of the time. I have a spreadsheet. I know what every VIP does for a living. And if they can't benefit from referrals, I know if somebody in their family or spouse could. I know who their ideal client is. I know the best way to send them a referral, what service areas they provide. And I'm looking at that every week to say, who do I know? Or as I'm having conversations, or as I'm on nextdoor.com, or as I'm on Facebook, I'm constantly thinking about those VIPs and their business and how I could be helping them. And that's number 1, is really just about passionate reciprocity. Number 2 is about a proactive relationship. If you were going to rate your sphere, those VIPs, are the creme de la creme. If something's going on in their life, I'm going to know about it, and I'm going to have that extra level relationship with them. And number 3 is unexpected appreciation gifts. I always encourage people to read that book, Giftology by John Rulin. It'll change the way you think about gift cards, consumables, client appreciation gifts. It blew my mind, and we stopped doing all those after reading that book. And we give gifts a totally different way based on data, and it's working really well. So I encourage you to read that book and just kind of see what you think.
Okay.
But
Who is it? Giftology? Is that what you said?
Giftology by John Rulin.
Okay. So I'm going to have to listen to that because like Johnny was saying, okay, yes, it was a genuine question. I'll give you that, Johnny. He's my buddy. He's going to be secretary treasurer next year right behind me.
Oh, yeah, Johnny.
I love serving with Johnny. But there are trend waves. There are things that come in and come out and that are popular or expected or working or not, just like you were saying, tracking the ROI and the data points of that. And so sounds like that's a great book to
It's
invest
a good
in.
book. Big picture, though, he does not believe in giving consumables or gift cards, because even though every client can use that, we all have to eat, we all have something we could spend money on. It's not what puts you top of mind or memorable to people. And that's the whole point. It's kind of like that keeper gift. He tries to make gifts either extremely personalized to the person and what they know about them, or if he's doing it in mass, he's going to make it something important, like for us, right now, charcuterie boards and cutting boards that are decorative, those are really popular to keep on your kitchen counter, even as decor. The main lesson is we never, ever give something with our name on it. And that's what most agents are doing wrong.
Oh gosh, I can't stand
how are you going to display a charcuterie, like the most gorgeous wood board you've ever seen with Amber Joy of Influential Agent? Like that's never going to sit on your countertop. You're going to be like, thanks, and throw it in the drawer, no matter how pretty the wood is. And it's not, if your name is all over the gift, then who is the gift about? It's about you. And it's like, we're missing the boat. If your name's on it, that's called swag. And this gift is for a VIP. It's not for a swag. Now, there is a time and place for swag. Like Jason flippin' loves swag. Like he loves t-shirts. He loves it all. But there's a time and place for that. That's for when you're sponsoring events. That's for when you're doing different things. But when it comes to rewarding somebody that's sending you referrals, you want it to be all about them.
Yes.
And so just think about a beautiful cutting board with the family name engraved on it. There was one last week that we saw that had a customer who had this recipe that their grandmother gave them, and it was handwritten. And they took that and imposed the exact handwriting, carved it into the wood cutting board. Like it was the coolest thing I ever saw. And it's like, those are the types of things that you want to give to people that are memorable keeper pieces that are going to be they'll be beyond excited to have.
Well, I want to move on to the next one, but 1 second, I want to say, just going back to that, whether it's the referral portion, it's a client gift, it's whatever else, it's always about what would you like to receive from somebody that made you feel like you were valuable and that it was a personal situation. Because I hate it when I buy a car and they stick their tag on the back of my car. And so you want me to drive around and be a driving billboard for you. You didn't give me a discount.
You want to go, hey, are you paying me monthly to lease that spot on my car?
But again, we all feel that way. We do all feel that way. And we want to get the Goo Gone and the scraper out. But then we do the same thing. So stop perpetuating the same behavior. I will tell you, I try to track notes throughout every deal of things that I listen to with my clients. And when I come to the closing table or another situation, I like to make custom gift baskets. It's my thing. Doesn't mean it works for everybody else. And I want to take all of the things they've talked to me about during the pre-listing and during whatever, and all of these other things that maybe they didn't even tell me something. I just gathered from being in their home and them being vulnerable with me, and I get to see it. And so it's awesome stuff for the dogs, because the dog is the king of the household. And so I'm putting the dog's favorite toys in the basket or favorite candies for the kids, and making sure that is representative of them.
Yes, I love that. Yes. And you'll keep doing that. Write those things down in the CRM, because with your VIP program, it's going to be well beyond a closing gift, and you're never going to remember all that in a year or two. So make sure you guys are storing all that in the CRM. And going forward, you want to have gifts that are coming. He says in the book, don't be an ABC gifter. That's what most realtors are. Anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas, or holidays. No, Thanksgiving is when a lot of them do stuff. And it's like, you need to be doing it when it's unexpected, because think about it as an adult. What is the best gift you ever got is when you weren't expecting one. Yeah. So it's not just about the closing gift. It's about an ongoing VIP appreciation gift. It's not something you do with your entire sphere. Okay, this is not a pop by like seeds and popcorn. This is like genuine gifts because somebody's referring to you. So it should only be done to your VIPs, not to your whole sphere. And I could go on, but I know we need to move on. So
that's all right. But what but what I am going to say is Johnny's comment gives us a great segue into number 6. And so Johnny gets this all the time from newer agents. So, hey, I screwed up and didn't stay in touch with my past clients over the past year. What do I do now to restart communication and dialogue without it being awkward for my past client and not make me look stupid? Jason, your wizard counterpart, always posting in there. He's already got Johnny covered.
He's the best.
With a great free download. But what
Reconnect script.
Yes. But what that does is it also gives a segue into number 6. What's number 6, Amber?
So we're on number 5, I believe, which is
established. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know we're running behind.
I know.
We're going to have to establish multiple pipelines of leads. Now, the whole reason we're doing this is to grow our sphere, because sphere is where it's at. That has not changed. But a lot of you don't have spheres that are large enough, and you start to feel the crunch of that, you start to feel the squeeze of feeling stressed out, because you can have an amazing sphere marketing system, but if your sphere is tiny, there's only so many sales you can have. So you want to establish multiple pipelines of leads. Now, I encourage you to do that based on your God-given personality type. So for Jason, he's an introvert. Jason, the one in the comment, is my husband and co-founder of Influential Agent. He's not just some random dude posting links.
he's not your stalker that just
he's not stalking me. He's my better half. That would be hilarious or really scary. But he is an introvert. So a lot of people are shocked to find that out about him, because he's really good at acting like he's outgoing when he's in front of other people. But he would not be caught dead doing an open house. Now, he likes to go to open houses, but he wouldn't be hosting one.
Yes.
So he's going to choose pipelines of leads that will complement his personality style. He loves online lead generation because he can be at his computer doing what he loves best. He could be building funnels, free downloads, gathering people's information that way and following up. Whereas I do love online lead generation too, but I don't mind the open houses as long as it's in my ideal want zone. And price range to where I'm meeting people. Because the biggest mistake a lot of people make when they go to open houses, agents that is they're like, okay, well, I didn't get a buyer or seller, so they don't view that open house as a success. And the reality is you're missing the boat. You'd have a success if you get a buyer, seller, but the third one is just as successful, is if you meet someone new that you're adding to your sphere for a future referral, because again, 15% of them will move, but 100% of them know someone. So if you start sending valuable things, you could get a referral even if they're not moving. So based on your personality type, think about, there's hundreds of ways to lead generate. What do you like to do, and how can you master that to add people to your Met list?
I love it. So, by the way, I mean, I've got these little things that happen when you get older, and I've got a fan on because I'm just perpetually hot. That's what getting older is all about. But I feel like I have wings, so I'm sorry if I keep on
you look beautiful.
My wings. Thank you so much. And really, honestly, I think that's the biggest thing. The takeaway from that, Amber, was find what suits your personality style best. My daughter, and I never thought I would say this, is like Jason. She is so intelligent. She is an extroverted introvert. She can put on a show, but she wants to sit there and stream together video content and be behind the scenes. She came to me the other day and she goes, "Do you know what Pinterest is?" And I said, "I do know what Pinterest is." She goes, "My mind." And she's not even 9. And she's just like, "You can find everything on Pinterest."
Mind blown.
Yes, and I
You
remember
can lead
Jason-
generate on Pinterest
Yes,
too.
I remember Jason talking about creating lead gen opportunities on Pinterest. So I never thought I'd say that my daughter reminds me of Jason Esparza, but here I am talking about it right now in the best of ways. So
Yeah,
finding those
I love it.
sources that fit your personality type is huge. And if nobody takes anything else from this show this evening, is do what works for you. Like you said, you were next to the guy that was cold calling. That's where my soul would go to die if I cold
Me
called
too.
the whole time.
Me too.
But that
I would
worked
hate
for
my
that
job.
guy.
But
Yes,
it worked
that
for him,
worked.
and there was nothing I could do about it. That's what he liked to do. But if I could give 2 fast tips on the best way to establish the multiple pipelines of leads outside of using your personality style and passions, is number 1, when you find what your passion is, that doesn't mean you're automatically good at it. It just means you're going to enjoy it more than other
Yes.
things. So research out who's already rocking at that and how can I take more education on that. So
Yep.
Jason and I even do this because technology changes so often. It's like, okay, who's the best at starting a YouTube channel? Because we want that to be one of our pillars. Let's study from them, So even though he's already good at it, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't go and try to really hone in on our skills. So I would say once you pick one, figure out who's doing well at it to get leads and study that. And then the second thing I would say, and this applies to all pipelines, is that the studies show that 80% of all leads convert between the 5th and 12th contact. Yet 48% don't even follow up once. So the key is, instead of just giving up, like this lead source doesn't.
I'm going to lose her again. But I already know where she's going with all of this. And so I put up number 2. Because it's really easy to follow up the first time, but basically everybody drops off on the second time. And that's super important, is just to keep on. Don't be a stalker like Jason in the comments, but continue to provide value, because you don't know when somebody's entrenched in things in their home life, in their professional life, or anything else. Maybe they still want to react, or they still want to respond to you, but maybe just now is not a good time. So continue to provide value and follow up there. And once Amber gets back on, we'll get back to the last 2. There she is.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what is happening over here. It's dropping me. So what was the last thing I said, Ashley?
Well, you started going into continue to follow up, and then I picked up the ball and ran with it. And I said, because listen, you don't understand. I held up number 2 because even beyond, it's easy to still follow up one time, which most people don't do. But the second time, everybody drops off, and you don't know what somebody's entrenched in behind the scenes, professionally or personally. They might want to follow up with you, but that was just a really bad time. So continue, be persistent, but provide value. So that was the biggest thing. And then I said,
well, you got it then.
Yeah. And I said, don't be a stalker like Jason in the comments. Continue to provide value at the same time. So
right. I'll stalk them all day long. They literally have to tell me, Amber, stop.
Unsubscribe in big bold letters.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's go to number 6.
Pretty interesting message on Monday morning, but we won't.
Oh, really? I love it. That's for a different show.
That's for a different show.
Yes. Okay. So
now we are on to number 6.
Yes, we are on number 6. What is vaunted number 6?
Okay. So number 6 is to be accountable. It doesn't matter if you are on the DISC personality assessment and you're the highest D and you're driven and you're an entrepreneur. If you're a lion, I know there's colors, there's lion. I know, regardless of the personality,
Yes.
regardless of which one you are, if it's something that we don't do consistently every day now, then that means in order to make it habit into our business, we're going to need accountability around it. So if you don't wake up,
swear, the fact that I've gone through a coaching program, I at least can sit here and continue on. But that was what was going back to what Johnny was saying, is what can I do to stay in touch? Well, the first thing is get an accountability program to sit there and make sure that you are staying in touch. And of course, then that doesn't mean you drop the ball and you don't have to make that awkward restart, which Jason gave us the script in which you can do. And even Kimberly said, just pick up the phone and call them. I found just saying, I'm so embarrassed that it's been so long to touch base, but wanted to let you know I was thinking of you often. Sometimes that's all it is. Eating a little bit of crow, swallowing pride, and just making that phone call. Going back to the beginning of the show, eating the frog. I don't even know what eating the frog means. I've been thinking about a lot of sayings. Look, I'm trying to just, I'm talking about eating
Oh
the
my
frog.
gosh.
Yeah,
I
no.
am so sorry. I have
That's all
taken
right.
the resolution of my camera down to the lowest it can go because I have no idea why it keeps.
That's fine. You still look
Dropping me.
beautiful. So
Thank you.
let's finish being
We
accountable.
will try to hurry this up so it doesn't drop me again. But be accountable, because with accountability comes growth. And I know accountability can be a curse word. I don't love it either. But
Yeah.
with coaching, accountability, and I do practice what I preach, I always have a coach, and mine is very expensive as well. And so I am determined to get to the next level. And if that requires accountability in most situations, and according to the studies, you'll increase your chance of success by 90% if you have a weekly accountability meeting with somebody. So whether it's a coach that you pay or it's a success partner in your office that's equally driven to have success,
Yeah.
make sure you have accountability.
Okay, by the way, your husband corrected you. It's 95%,
Oh,
not 90%. But here's what I will tell you. Oh, then he changed it by 90%. So it's 90 or 95.
It's
Folks.
90.
Okay, we'll fact check it later. But
It's one of those, and both of those are good. Yes.
Both of those are good. But you know what? I'm a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan because of how he speaks. It just permeates my brain, and I'm an auditory learner. And one of the things that really connected with me is he said, yes, it's 90%. She's right. Good job, Jason. But he said, as far as like trying to get healthy and getting a trainer, he knew that getting healthy and eating well and working out was something that was really important to his continued vitality and all of this other stuff. But it was real easy to disappoint himself. So he hired a trainer because he didn't want to disappoint the trainer. And because he had a trainer, that it's not even about as much of the accountability. Oftentimes, as just individuals, we're willing to disappoint ourselves, but we don't want to disappoint others more.
Yeah,
and so that kind of resonated with me from that standpoint is, okay, that's fine. But if I have to jump on a call or I have to do something and I have to look at somebody else in the face and say, I didn't do it, oh, that would be just awful. And I would just shrink. Yeah. So it was kind of a light bulb moment there that accountability partner is so crucial.
Plus, it's also something our brain does, and all the studies and so many books you read say this, is that when we are getting out of our comfort zone, which is what is required to continually grow,
right,
our brain is set to protect us from failure. So it almost doesn't want us to do that. So we've got to have a coach or a mentor that can get us out of our comfort zone, because we always say around here, the comfort zone is where dreams go to die. So if you've got to have somebody pushing you, because your own brain will let you down. Your own brain is meant to be in fight or flight. It wants to protect you from that failure, and you will not reach your potential without failing. So you're going to have to be accountable to somebody. Yeah.
I have fabulously failed so many times. And I look back and
we've got it down.
We've got it down. And I look back though, and I'm like, man, I've learned so much from that failure. And all of the successful individuals will say, whether it's in real estate or other way else, oh my gosh, look at my failures. They're abundant, but those were very great. They were great learning experiences that you
and now you know what not to do.
100%. So yeah, absolutely. So going into the last one, and number 7.
Okay, this is an easy one for me. And my number 7 might surprise you because it's not necessarily real estate related, but it's give back. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that you reap what you sow. So if you're lead generating, or if you're not, you're going to sow the results of that. But the same goes for your generosity. I believe, that God can bless you abundantly when you give abundantly. And I believe that he uses business owners like ourselves to give. I mean, I really feel like I'm a kingdom entrepreneur. I feel like that if I have an abundance mindset and I give back, that it will come back to me. Now, I'm not doing it for that reason, but I know for a fact that I'm waking up to do more than just make money. I need to wake up with a purpose of helping people. And I believe agents are in it. Most of them are very giving, but I don't mean just with charity, although I love that. And that's a big one. I believe giving to other agents, not hoarding our knowledge. There's enough business to go around. We need to have an abundance mindset to help in our industry, to help volunteer with our time, and to help give with our money. I believe it's all of the above, So you have to determine what that looks like for you. But I honestly believe the people who are most successful long-term are the ones who give extravagantly. And the only way I can give extravagantly is to make money extravagantly, which means
Thank you.
That's holding me accountable to do the things that I need to do in my business so that I can give extravagantly. And to me, there's no greater joy in that. So I would ask the audience to connect with, what is their why? Because when they get up in the morning, when you got your real estate license or your lender license or whatever your listing title, that is just the vehicle that's going to get you there. That's not actually your purpose. Okay. So what is your why? Why is it so important that you succeed? Okay. Why can you not fail? Because you have to do X, Y, Z. Well, that's usually attached to your big why. So I would ask you, especially in a shift, to connect with that big why. I thought I lost the stream again.
No, we're here. It's okay. We're good. I'm just being stoic right now.
So connect with that big why, because you're going to wake up. And as entrepreneurs, there are days when it is lonely. There are days when we're killing it. There's days when we are not killing it. And regardless of what kind of day it is, we need to be able to connect with that big why. We need to be able to understand that it's bigger than us. And that's what's going to keep you going in those times, because it's not what the money is, it's what the money can do. So determine, what does it do for you, and really connect with that each day. And I would encourage you to give extravagantly and decide what that looks like in your life.
So I've got a t-shirt. I love to, everybody figuring out what helps their brain get them in gear and do everything else. I love to wear graphic t-shirts. I think that's my way of doing daily affirmations. I don't write them on my mirror or do anything like that, because that makes me feel weird. But depending on what my personality is, I have about 25 of them. And I'm like, ooh, this one is good. Wow. Yes. So I have one that says, I need new haters because mine are starting to like me. I've got another one that says, I'm not for everyone. And that's not because I don't want to be valued by other people, but it's a thing for me to know. It's not about pleasing everyone. It's about providing value. And sometimes people, I'm not their cup of tea, and that's okay. But there's so many other people that I can continue to affect change and help and do all those other things.
Yeah,
the one I'm wearing today, it says, it's backwards, but did you die? And so my thing is so, and I love people. I wore it to our leadership retreat last week for our new directors and chairs and vice chairs. And they're like, but I don't understand, but did you die? And I said, it just means basically, did it kill you?
Right.
Okay,
did you get out of your comfort zone, and did you die regardless of what happened? Yeah.
No, you didn't, but you get up, brush your knees off. You're going to be okay, and keep after it. But I will tell you that mindset of abundance, okay, is the key to all of this, because like you said, there's enough business for everyone. And I think right now there's a lot of agents. James, I have the same t-shirt type, but I wore it for the gym. I do too. I go to the gym every morning, and the person at the front lives for my t-shirts every morning. And so I like to add new ones to my repertoire. But no, the biggest thing is understanding it's very easy when there's a shift in the marketplace to go to a scarcity mindset.
It really is. Yeah.
And that's the scary part of all of this is, keeping yourself accountable, tracking your expenses. Those don't have to be scarcity mindset, operations or steps. Those are keeping you agile so you can continue to pivot and be, leveraging in that abundance mindset. And Amber, you and Jason are so phenomenal in that, just to continue to provide tools and value and education. And when things start to happen, you guys are sitting there and drilling down and trying to figure out, so we don't have to on our own, because you're providing the content and free content consistently to help us chart all of that. But you guys have been great. We've posted in the comments and everything else, but you do a sign off
for you.
Yes.
Well, let me give you guys the recap in case you just joined. So 7 steps to recession proofing your business. Number 1, time block your daily lead generation time on your calendar and make it a non-negotiable. Number 2, hold your expenses accountable. Number 3, focus on your sphere of influence. Number 4, reward your top referrers. Number 5, establish multiple pipelines of leads so that you can grow your sphere list. Number 6, be accountable. And number 7, give back. And I would tell you that the thing that we didn't come up with, Jason would have to tell you, but I think it's Harry S. Truman, that we drill on ourselves and our coaching clients is, regardless of what you heard today, really stop and assess, out of those 7, which are the ones I need to take action on, and really make a plan around that. Because again, we cannot afford in a shift to mess around. We want you to be recession proof, but we don't want you to just make it. We want you to thrive in this market. And the way you're going to do that is action, 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 action. And what we say every day, and I should have it on a t-shirt, Ashley, is that you don't have to have all the answers, but you just need to get up and take daily imperfect action, because imperfect action always beats out perfect inaction. And that's what you need to focus on.
Amen, sister. Well, we've had 3 different people: Lisa, Jason, Tommy. Thank you. Great info. This was awesome information. Thank you, ladies. And that is huge. And yes, Jason, thank you for putting that in.
It is Harry Truman.
Yes. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, by Harry Truman. So with that, we are going to sign off, but that is just for this evening. Feel free to continue to comment in the chat. And if you need anything at all, you can reach out to Amber on any of the social media channels.
And lots of education videos on the YouTube channel.
Absolutely. So we appreciate you guys. And yes, it was fun to play peekaboo. And we did a great job.
Those tech people that lose their Wi-Fi every 2 seconds, apparently. Well, thanks for having me, Ashley, and thanks to everybody that's listened. It's been fun.
Yes, thank you. And Sherry, we're going to let her sign off. Great job as always, both of you, and you too, Jason. So fan of Influential agent and Amber and Jason, and we appreciate you guys so much. We will see you soon. And you know what? We're going to see you in Q1 of 2023. So
awesome.
Fantastic. Have a great evening. We'll see you guys soon.